Welcome, card readers. April here on Tarot and Witchery, and I thought I would do a series on cards that scare us. Maybe they're not, don't necessarily scare us, but they're kind of the more difficult cards in the tarot when they come up. What do you do with them in the reading? I'm going to kind of just talk about my thoughts on them and the growth that I've had from each one of these cards, and maybe some questions that you might want to ask yourself as these cards come up in your readings. Some different ways to look at them, and of course I'll have some different examples as I chat about them. So you may want to break out a notepad and take down some of these questions because I find they really help me when these cards come up in a spread. Today's card is, as you already know by seeing the thumbnail, the Tower. Woohoo! Gosh, you know, this comes up and it's like, wow, the Tower. When I pull this up on the table, people usually see it and I ask them, what do you see in the card? And almost always people say, I see people falling to their death. Yeah, really fun. Isn't that really fun? Yeah, so, or people falling and they, you know, so it's a scary, scary card for people to get. I do personally like getting the Tower. It doesn't feel good in my life. Tower moments are not happy, but I do like getting them and I'll get into that. But before I do, please do me a favor and down below, let me know what deck has your favorite Tower card and why. Yeah, and that's good because it lets people watching this, they can see your comments and then they can decide, oh, maybe I want to go check out that deck. Who knows? So yeah, here's the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation of it. This is a super flashy, this is my brown original tarot. Absolutely love this one. I love brown. Brown's like one of my favorite colors. So yeah, here we see the Tower. And you know, the thing about the Tower is it represents something outside of ourselves. Let me get my little wand here. Outside of ourselves, coming in and striking down the structures that we have built up. And, you know, the thing about this is, you know, when this happens, there should be something in your life that you can absolutely point to that is, you know, coming from outside of yourself. Unless you're using the internal method of reading reversals and it comes upside down, then I would say it's something going on inside of you. Like it's an inside revelation. But usually this is an incident, something that's happened in our life. I love the crown up here because it's something in our life is being dethroned. Something in our life is being reduced to rubble, and for good reason. Sometimes we get too dependent on structures and life becomes stagnant. Let's look at this one here in the New Vision Tarot. We can get kind of a different view of the card itself, not too different. We still see the people. You do see the face here, and then it's backwards here, so it's the other side of what's going on, and you can see it's an absolute reverse. And what we have down here is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and so I find this really interesting that they put this down here because what we are being shaken down to our foundations. This is going to be reduced to rubble, and we're going to have a chance to really look at what is right and wrong for us. What do we really believe about whatever this is touching in our lives? And how does that come in? How do we come back to the wisdom of life and build something new? Because we have a structure here that's antiquated. Something in our life is just not working anymore and it has to go. And maybe you had some warning about this. I'm one of these people that I have several stories I could tell you about where I knew I needed to go or leave or let it go and I didn't. And I had a Tower moment. The universe said, the YO universe said, okay, I'm taking this out, girl, because you are not doing the job yourself. It's just, this isn't working. Let's look at this one here. This is the Cosmic Visions Tarot. It's really funky, as you can see. And it's his head here. And so there's the body And then we have the eye down here, and we have all sorts of stuff going on. This is such a wild tarot. Good, bad, and ugly. There's good all aspects in this tarot. But I do really like this tarot card here in it. And we have this tower, the traditional tower. And we see that wisdom is coming in and crashing this and breaking this up. And we're going to get back down to the foundations. And, that's really what the tower card is about a lot of times, is getting back to our foundations. Here we have the Chrysalis Tarot. This is by Tony Brooks, and this is such an interesting tarot. If you get this tarot, if you get the Chrysalis Tarot, make sure to get the book. And it's represented by Kali, the divine dark mother, who comes in and she dances the dance of entropy and destruction. So I love this. Divine creatrix of destruction is the way that I look at Kali. So I love that they put this in here because, it feels kind of evil and like, ooh, and scary and weird and oh my gosh. But destruction serves such an important part in our lives because you know what? We will continue to build things up and up and up until they are so large and profound in our lives that the towers that we create become prisons. And so, we need the divine creatrix of destruction to come in and take things out for us sometimes so that we can get on to something new and different. Here we have Tarot of the Abyss. It looks like a fairy house to me. Built in this tree, this old tree. There's a storm going. It's over this cliff. Like, who builds their house over a cliff like that? And so a lot of times the things that we have built up in our life, or what the tarot is pointing us to at this time, is that we've chosen to build a structure on something that is unsound. And we really need to see that. So that's another way of looking at it. Again, I think it's really important. Here we see the outside influence in the Everyday Witch Tarot, that it is something. I usually find this is something very profound that is coming from the outside in. It could seem like it's a person or an incident. I think it's really important when the tower comes up to not get into the blame game, because sometimes we can really get into a victim mentality and be like, the Wicked Witch of the West did this to me. So-and-so did this and it never would have happened if they hadn't blah, blah, blah. Make sure that you're not moving into a victim mentality and blaming others. This is your life and this is your story. You're writing it. This is your universe, your YO universe. You are the one empowered to make choices in it. And when something this big comes up, the last thing you want to do is start blaming others, because you need to get busy. You need to get busy figuring out where, which of these pieces are worth salvaging down here, and what you need to leave behind, and you need to find a new building site for yourself, because the things that we've stored up, this is Chris Ann's The Light Seers Tarot, the things that we've stored up, maybe this is good, maybe we can go ahead and take some of these things that we've stored up within there, but this is no longer a safe haven. Something that you've built up in your life is no longer something that you can abide in. Hey there, cardomancers. Namir and I just want to jump in here real quick and say, hey, you may want to check out my playlists. I've got all sorts of different playlists. You can look up reviews, you can look up spreads, and you can look up cool things that you can learn. I'm always trying to talk about fun things about tarot and oracle, so check those out. Okay, I'm going to get into some of my favorites here. Okay, I love this one. This is from the Star Tarot. Absolutely love, love, love. Oh my gosh. Here we have the Star Tarot, and we have this beautiful ray of light, and you see this dove, and the dove usually is like peace and freedom, and it's like inside this volcano. And I feel like this is like releasing the dove. Like the dove is part of the lightning, but also it's coming out. The sun is setting, or is the sun rising? It's a cosmic moment. Look at over here. You've got like this comet sort of heralding this big thing that you need to pay attention to. In some ways, the sun is setting. in some aspect of your life, but it is also rising. It's a new day that is on the horizon. So this is a card of hope in many ways. It doesn't feel like it when you're in the middle of a tower moment. Let me just say that. There's no way around the fact that this is uncomfortable and that it's not our favorite place to be. But it is a gift. It is a gift to have something so powerful come in and give such a clear message. Because usually when this happens, there's no denying that this is done. This is probably one of my all-time favorites, and this is from the Fifth Spirit Tarot. Here you can see that house is burning down. Even if the fire department gets here, this is done. It's over, and there's nothing to do but sit and watch it burn. And so I want to say something about that. Sometimes we do need to sit and really watch something burn, so we can mourn it, so that we can grieve it, so that we can understand why it burns, so that we can really know that it's done and gone. You know, bad relationships, bad jobs, bad choices, ideas about ourselves. You know, this can represent an idea about yourself that you've been living in your whole life, a restricting idea, like that you've built your whole life around this idea. And then suddenly something comes in and you realize that's not true. And it's time to move on. It's time to build a house to live in. It's time to have a new mindset about your life. We have here the Tarot of Transformation. And again, I've talked about this, and I think I have one of these in every single video in this series for all 8 of them. By the way, there are 8 of these, so you might want to look them up and watch them all if you're interested. So the Tarot of Transformation is about what this card offers us. Again, this creator has chosen Kali. I love this rendition of Kali. And it's shattering the structure. So shattering that structure in order to be transformed. Sometimes we really need to shatter things. We need to obliterate it so that we can really move on and, you know, be something new. Oftentimes we build houses for ourselves that are so limiting. And you can see here, she's like coming out of, again, that creatrix energy in order to come into your life and shatter what no longer serves. Some great questions to ask yourself. Why did I build this structure in my life? Why did I have this idea about myself? Where did this idea come from? Why have I chosen to tie myself to this? As I watch it burn, what fears do I have about what I'm losing? A question is, you know, what do I gain when this is removed from my life? How am I set free? How am I set free by that? What can I salvage from this that is worth taking on to my new residence? Again, am I blaming someone else for the choices that I made? Because choice by choice, each one of these is a choice. Choice by choice, we build paradigm structures, we build careers, we build lives that are coming from fear. We accept lies and we build lies into our structures in our life. So again, like, am I blaming someone for my own choices in my life? Did I choose unwisely to create something in a very unstable fashion? Why did I choose to do that at the time? And how can I move away from that instability? I just want to say, sometimes we're so used to chaos. We could have a lot of chaos in our upbringing. And so it is just really something that we weave into our lives in the future. We create chaotic relationships. We create chaotic lifestyles. And so, you know, ask yourself, why did I choose to build this in such a chaotic or unsafe way? And am I ready to let go of that before I build something new? Let's see here. Yeah, I guess just looking here, where is the core of knowledge within myself? in this? Like, where's the nugget that is true, that remains after all of this is shattered? What is true and remains within me in this situation? What am I taking away from this that cannot be shaken, that is on the rock, that is on stable ground? These are all really good questions. I hope I didn't go too long with this one. If you made it all the way to the end, then I want to ask you, please go ahead and leave a lightning emoji down below. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. I really just love talking about these aspects. And of course, this is not exhaustive. So if you have some thoughts to add to the conversation, please do so down below. Until we meet again, I hope you have the strength to realize that when you have your tower moments, you're ready to move on and build something bigger, better, and more in line with who you are.